Good evening, everyone. Do we have a topic today, or I'm free to travel?
What do you want to talk about?
Dating? Actually,
No, please, not dating.
I say the same thing when I hear it. You only hear it once or twice a year. I have to repeat it 20 times a year.
That's what you're supposed to speak.
But not to disappoint you, I gave a very successful lecture last night in Bet Gabriel in Queens, 2.5 hours about dating and marriage, before marriage, after marriage.
During marriage.
So if you have access to TorahAnytime.com, you all know TorahAnytime.com. Thanks to them, I'm here. They made me the connection with Or Nava, so you can just watch it. I think they already put it on. Someone just called me to tell me that he's watching it and he's very excited, so I guess it's on. How do I know when it's on or not? I begin to get phone calls and emails. Then we know it's on. So instead of repeating it now, we might as well do something more interesting. I know for you it's the most important thing. So you know what? I'll do both. I'll speak a few minutes about that, and then we move on with that. I'm sure it's a very serious dilemma for all the single girls, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, everyone with their age, before marriage. It's probably occupied her mind completely. Who is going to be my husband? Where will I end up? With which guy? Where will I live? Will I have to move? Shidduchim sometimes make you move away completely from your lifestyle. You're here, you move to LA, you move to Israel, different mentality, different family. Everything can change. It's not only just, okay, I was single, now I'm married. Sometimes marriage make a sharp turn in your entire life. And this is a part of the plan. The Gemara says that Amar Rabbi Yuden, one of the rabbis, sounds like Yiddish, even though there was no Yiddish then, 2,000 years ago. Sounds like an Yiddish name. Amar Rabbi Yuden, afilu mamzer, even a mamzer in one side of the world and a mamzeret in the other side of the world, HaKadosh Baruch Hu brings them together into one location and make them soulmates, a matchmaking, make a shidduch. Which is, even though, shidduchim is very difficult for Hashem to make. I explained yesterday for about just 15-20 minutes, what does it mean it's hard for Hashem? This expression, it's hard for Hashem, if you don't really know it 100%, it sounds 100% like fira. If a person thinks that it's difficult for Hashem to do anything, it's a kofir. Kofir. He may be Shomer Shabbos, but that's what Chazal says in Apikors, Chaz v'Shalom. He disrespects Hashem, or he thinks that Hashem created the world with a hammer and nails and drills. He was banging, and I don't know what goes through the people's mind, that they think Hashem had to sweat while he was creating the world. So now it's very difficult for Hashem to open the ocean for Israel to pass through. It's very difficult for Hashem to make shidduchim. What does it mean? It's very difficult. The answer is, it's not the difficulty that some of us may think, chas v'shalom. It's difficult because it goes sometimes against justice. That's what it means, it's difficult. It means Hashem announced that Rivka has to marry Moshe, and Moshe is lazy. It's not learning. He's going out every night. He's not a serious Jew. He's making sins. He's going down. He wake up late. He doesn't daven normally. Why would Hashem destroy Rivka's life with such a loser? It's not fair. But that's her shidduch. That was the announcement. Until Hashem loses patience for this loser, and he has to take this beautiful girl away from this guy. By taking her away from here, it's a beginning of a chain reaction. Now he has to find her another guy, and he has to be in her level. And now to find this guy for her, he has to take this guy away from someone. And that's becoming a very complicated mission. That's what it means, kashe zivugo shel ha'adam kriyat yam suf. Why it was hard for Hashem to split the ocean for the nation of Israel after He promised them He's going to take them to Eretz Israel? Why it was hard for Him? It goes like this. The ocean split. What's difficult? The same concept. Nothing is difficult physically for Hashem. The whole world was created in less than a second. Don't make no mistake. The 6 days that you read in Parashat Bereshit is just making an order in a creation. Really, everything was done in less than a second, in a period of time that you cannot count. Hashem decided that the world will become a world, and it's all done. Rocks, trees, water, oxygen, everything was mixed. Then He started to separate different departments. Suits here, shirts are there. You have to make order. But everything was done in a minute. The container fell right on your head. Everything is in it. You put this on a shelf here, the other one in a closet, this part goes to the drawer. And Hashem made order in a creation. The order indicates what's more important. What was created last is the most important things. Besides the 10 things that the Pirkei Avot teach us that was created ben hashmashot, that's not necessarily more important, but the things that were created from Yom Rishon, from Sunday to Friday, moments before Shabbat started, the last thing that was created is us. Everything was created for us. That's why we came last. Why it was difficult for Hashem to split the ocean for us? Because we didn't have the zchut. We didn't deserve. Why we didn't deserve? We didn't have enough emunah. They were complaining. If there's one thing Hashem hates, literally hates. It's hard to say hate about Hashem, that He hates something, but you cannot argue with the Torah. The Torah said that Hashem hates ungrateful people. Egoistic, ungrateful people. They only want to receive, they don't want to give back. And even if they receive, they never appreciate. People like this, you're not allowed to do chesed to them. Not that many people know. If a person is sick, mentally sick, mental case, it's not only someone who speaks to himself and make weird noises. That's one kind of sickness. Mentally sick can be sickness in his midot. Too jealous, too proud, have desire for food, have desires for the ladies, have all kinds of material desires that he can't control it. That's a sickness that needs to be addressed. He must correct it. If he dies with it, he did not fulfill his obligation. He knows the whole Torah by heart. For whatever Torah he learned, he's going to be rewarded. Nobody can take away the reward from the Torah that he learned. But the main thing is missing from the book. What is it? That the entire Torah was made for him to correct his midot. Since he did not do it, what good was the whole Torah? It's like giving you a car to drive from here to LA. So you took care of the car, you drove it all over, but you didn't get to your destination with the car. What good is the car? What good is the Torah if you die a jealous person? What good is the Torah if you die a stingy person? So the list of the people that it literally, clearly says in the Torah that chas v'shalom, we can be very easily in that list without realizing. We think we are tzaddikim, we read Tehillim every day, we learn Torah, we dress modest, very nice. Everything is great. But the main things we not always pay attention to. It's not less important to correct the midot. It's the most important thing. So therefore, someone who's ungrateful, he receives good from his parents and he disrespects them. He receives good for his children and he doesn't respect them enough. He receives from friends, from his rabbi, from his teacher, so many different scenarios. And he doesn't appreciate, or he appreciated but not enough. Nevertheless, someone who gives bad for the good he receives. There's plenty of people like this. The more good you do for them, the more they stick a knife and shove it into your back. Why is it? How does it make sense? Ungrateful person, you may think, is ungrateful to someone who doesn't owe anything. He made him a little favor, you know, so no big deal. I don't owe him anything. He made me a little favor. What did he do for me? But if this person made for me a huge favor, let's keep my ungratefulness on hold for now with this person. How can I do it to him? That's logic. But the actual logic is exactly the opposite. Somebody came to the Chafetz Chaim and say to him, this person is speaking against you. Just imagine who had the guts to talk against the Chafetz Chaim. How to believe. So what was the answer of the Chafetz Chaim? One sentence, from here you learn everything about this horrible midah. The Chafetz Chaim say, it's strange, I don't remember doing any favor for that person. You got it? Means, what made him speak against me? I really never did any favors to him. If I would done favors for him, then I understand why the Yetzer Hara attacked him. Because the way of the Satan, when the Satan has many options to trap us and to bury us, to which pit the Satan would lead us? 1 feet, 2 feet deep, 3, 10, 20, 100. The Satan always aimed to the worst sin. It's not enough for him that you ate bread without netilat yadayim. Yeah, it's a sin. It's not. There's no execution for that. No karet. Satan is not fulfilling his stomach. It's nothing. It's a little, a little cookie. And Satan wants to enjoy steak. When he enjoys steak, when he see a Jew touch another girl, 2 single guys, oh, that's a celebration for him. Oh, they're just losing their olam haba. He makes a party. This is exactly how it works. If you read in the Zohar, it's not recommended because you become completely depressed for years. If you read what's all the punishments against the sins of modesty, it's hard to believe. Only by reading it probably 100 times at least, I realize what a bad sin is this to violate the rules of modesty. I'm not talking sins between guys and girls, just the way the girls are dressed. It's such an unbelievable sin. By seeing the way God is addressing this sin, you see how severe is the sin. How do you know how bad is the sin? When the judge sends you 1 month to jail, or when he sends you to 30 years in jail? If you walk into the court, you didn't hear the trial. It's just ended now. But you just hear from one of the guys there, from the audience, in one room, somebody got a month in prison. And the next room, somebody else got 30 years in prison. And now they ask you, are you willing to swear on your life which one of the guy made a worse sin? Sure, I would swear. How am I such a brave guy that I'm willing to swear on my life, not knowing the criminals, what did they do? Very simple. If this guy got a month and he got 30 years, do I have any doubts which one committed a worse sin? We have common sense here. So when you see that a person ate without netilat yadayim, it's a sin. For sure. Every little thing it's a sin that we go against the Torah. But nowhere in the history we saw that he loses olam haba for it. We never saw, chas v'shalom, that he gets karet for it, that he gets stoning for it, choking, burning, none of these things. When those chas v'shalom horrible punishments are coming to Shabbat and modesty, if a girl keeps those 2, she almost for sure gets saved from all the negative things that we see in the Torah for the wicked people. Right away she saved herself with 2 mitzvot, modesty and Shabbat. 90% of Judaism for a Jewish girl is those 2 mitzvot. Everything else together, it's 10%. But the most important thing overall is not to leave this world with a negative personality that you came to this world with. If you are stingy, you must correct it. You did not correct it, you're going to have to be reincarnated again, to start all over. If you're angry, you must correct it. If you're lazy, you must correct it. If you're a disrespectful person with no patience for foolish people, some of us lose our patience very fast. If somebody asks you to repeat direction 3-4 times. I had a case, I would never believe that something like this is possible. I spoke to a respectable businessman. You may think someone that is so successful in business doesn't have to be a genius, but has to be a little bit clever, a little bit. I had to explain him my website name, divineinformation.com. He's dealing with Americans every day. It's not that he just landed in America yesterday. He's 20 years in business. He owns an office. He has salespeople. He goes to courts. He does business in English all day around. So I tried to explain him how to write divineinformation.com. I am not lying to you. If I remember correct, maybe 10 to 15 times I had to repeat it, the spelling of the word divine information. The guy cannot catch. And just when I was about to lose it, I'm talking to myself, inside your head. It's my test. Who knows what's going to be? And then in the end, after I found out that, God forbid, if I make a comment to this person, a tragedy would happen. This person is donating money to rabbis, to religious people. Just imagine what could have come from this. So, the way it was rude to me on the phone, I'm done with religious people. We see it all the time. I give you an opposite example. One couple, they came to a religious family for Shabbat, but they really didn't come for Shabbat. They had to be out of their home for a while. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Shabbat, they had to be out of their house. So they went to their religious relatives. Motzei Shabbos, finally, they're already dying to go back home. So they say, what time we have the bus? They want to get out of there already, religion and there, it doesn't go together. So the religious couple, they are doing everything they can to do something to attract them maybe to stay, or to ask questions about religion, to do something to ignite them. And they don't know how to do it. They're not experienced how to talk to them. So they decided that on the way to the bus, instead of going a short way, direct, go straight, they're going to go in the neighborhood. Why? Like this, they see a lot of religious people. Maybe the zchut of one of them, when they see him, maybe we'll do something. What do we have to lose? Another 5 minutes we walk. So they walk left, right. They don't know now. So they make a right, they make a left. They walk with them. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they go through the synagogue. And inside the synagogue, they hear noises, people yelling. They never saw in their life such a thing. It's a true story. It happens. So they ask their host, what's over there, the noise? So they say, everybody gathered to read Tehillim for one Avrech from the Shiva is very sick. He's married, he has children. So everybody comes now for 2 hours and they read the entire Tehillim for that guy. That got them. What? These people knows the guy? Everybody knows him personally? Most of them don't know even who he is. They only have a name. So they're willing to take 2 or 3 hours of their time to come here instead of go home and be with their wife and children, just to come here to pray for someone they don't know? That's interesting. Can we see? So sure, the plan worked. They got them into the Ezrat Nashim. They looked. They didn't want to go. They didn't care about the bus, nothing. Today, this couple, ultra Orthodox. What made them religious? The 40 people that were there in the shul reading Tehillim, like you did when I came here, you did it for the 3 guys in Japan. Supposedly, 3 innocent Jews found themselves in jail with the cruelest people on earth. You see Japanese with suits and ties, you don't know really the roots. They used to chop people's head for breakfast. They eat the brains of the monkey while the monkey is still alive in Japan today. They tie his hand to the trees with ropes. They take a Japanese razor. They cut his scalp off. They pull it out like a plate. And they sit, people with suits, tuxedos, and cigars, sitting in a court of Tokyo. It's true, one Japanese woman told me, don't exaggerate, it's only the people from the villages. It's not the educated people. It doesn't matter. They sit with a spoon when the monkey is still alive and they're eating his brain. Those 3 Jews are in the hand of people like this. So what do we need now? A big miracle from Hashem. Well, if Hashem won't make a miracle, how Hashem's going to agree to do a miracle to us? The Satan is coming against. Satan is fighting. And Hashem is fair. Everything that he does is based on righteousness, based on honesty, integrity, tzedakah, emunah, chesed, all these things is taken into consideration. If we don't have the zchut, then the Satan say objection, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I'm sorry. It's not fair. You wrote in the Torah, Ata el ha'emet v'hatzedek, you're the God of justice. There's no justice here. Why? Whatever the reasons that those 3 guys got into that nisayon, we do not know. It could be from something they did in the last year, it could be something they did 5 years ago, it could be something they did in their previous life. Nobody knows what we're getting punished for. Because sometimes it can be for something you did 500 years ago in a different body. As we see in the Tanakh, many examples like this. The way of Hashem, nobody knows. Mishpatei Hashem tzadeku yachdav, it says. When you know the entire picture, then you understand the divine logic. If you don't know, if you know 2-3%, what do you expect to understand what's going on? There's no way to understand. So anyway, they saw how these people were reading Tehillim, how we did, and hopefully we have the zchut, one of us can save them. One of them. I once went to visit a big rabbi, he passed away in the meantime. He had cancer, lo alenu. It's also an epidemic. Also, almost every family gets at least one member that get it today. It's worse than heart attacks already. And he was in York Avenue in a hospital. That's when all the heart cases ending up over there. Over there, everyone is religious. Even the atheists. Soon as they connect them to the machine, they don't stop talking to Hashem 1 second. Jews, non-Jews. If you don't believe me, send anyone with a black hat over there. You see how they go and beg him to pray for them. I'm telling you from experience. Rabbi, can you say pray for me? Indians, Chinese. All of a sudden, everyone is Jewish over there. Why? They're thinking, what do I have to lose? Maybe they're right. Maybe they're close to God. Especially history always said that the Jews are the nation of Hashem. Am HaSefer. Who made us this name? Am HaSefer. Muhammad. When he brought the Quran, he called us over there Am HaSefer, the nation of the book. He said a lot of other stupid things over there. One good thing came out of his mouth at least. He called us Am HaSefer. So anyway, the idea is that when we don't have the zchut, the Satan is mekatreg. He goes against. And he has the power. That's why Hashem created him. He is the prosecutor. So I saw that rabbi over there in the hospital, every person who comes to visit him, students, young, old, anyone, first thing he tells them, give me a bracha. Begging them, give me a bracha. If it's big rabbis, then you understand. He wants a bracha, maybe this rabbi will save him. But when I started to see that even 20 years old guys that comes in just to come to, to bring something to try to tell them, hey, we don't forget you, he asked from them also bracha. So I asked him, why you ask from everyone who comes here, you ask a bracha? He said, look, hundreds of people are coming here. Daily people are coming. One of them for sure should have enough zchut. One zchut he has, you do not know by seeing the person. Maybe he says such a mitzvah in his pocket that Hashem is crazy about this person. He loves him so much that just for him, Hashem is willing to make me healthy. How do I know? And I trust me when I tell you that this person had enough merit, zchuyot, like all of us together, multiply by 1,000,000. And I'm not exaggerating, include myself. Me and you, all of us together, put it on a scale and put his zchuyot on the other side, the scale will break to his side, fall down. Just hard to understand. But he finished his job here. especially when he had 1 year of suffering. David HaMelech says, it's very interesting. He says, צרה ויגון אמצא ובשם השם אקרא. Did you ever understand? You say it hundreds of times in Tehillim. What does it mean, this sentence? צרה ויגון אמצא ובשם השם אקרא. What does it mean? Who knows?
I will look, I will find Tsar and anguish,
Yeah?
and then I will call out in Hashem's name.
No, I heard you. What do
I
you...
mean, I will find.
Oh, very good. Yeah? That's what 99.9% of the people who read it thinks, but it's wrong. We know that, but that's not this. So far, she is the only one who saw the problem in this verse. There's a problem in the words. The words do not connect good. What does it mean? David HaMelech says, "Tzara v'yagon emtza." What does it mean, emtza? I will find. It's like finding a diamond on the street. You know, metzia, right? The Gemara says 3 things surprising the person. 3 things. What is it? A crab, a scorpion. You go, you sleep somewhere in a tent, camping, God forbid, a black scorpion come, it could be the end of your life. You don't know, it's a surprise. And the second thing is Mashiach. All of a sudden, one day, one person will be eating breakfast, the other one will be snoring, the other one will be in the middle of Shachrit, one person will be in a bathroom, person will stand online, I don't know, in court. Everybody will be somewhere. All of a sudden, it's going to be a huge siren. The shofar of Eliyahu Hanavi. All over the world. Ooh, imagine, try to imagine. And it's becoming stronger and stronger. And all the 6.4 billion people, we're getting close to 7 billion people already. It's a big problem. The more people we have in the world, the more problems, potentially. So, 7 billion people are standing on the street, looking up. Everyone is pausing. Why? Who would know what to expect? Only we would know what it is. They won't know what it is. We would know what it is. So that's going to be a big surprise for us. We're not ready. Oh, I didn't sell the house yet. Calls his wife. Call the broker. Tell her right away to sell. He calls his broker. Sell my stocks. Why? Mashiach is here. Like he needs his stocks anymore. But everybody will be shocked, nervous. Oh, what should we do? Imagine we'll be in the middle of a lecture. Maybe I'll be here the next time. It's going to happen in the middle of the lecture. Yeah? This time maybe. B'ezrat Hashem. You're optimistic. Very good. So anyway, and the Gemara said the third thing is metziah. Finding something. You walk in the street, a wallet, credit card, Bill Gates credit card on the street. Why are you happy? You cannot do anything with that anyway. You're not allowed to use it. It's like finding a piece of paper. Somebody else may celebrate with that, and then go to jail for 10 years for the little that he was able to buy. So anyway, 3 things. So the Gemara says, why? From all the things in the world that is really a big surprise, the Gemara mentioned 3. Scorpion, Mashiach, and finding a lost object on the street. There are so many other surprises in life, right? Well, one day your wife comes and says, Mazel Tov, I'm pregnant. That's a big surprise. Why the Gemara didn't say that? One day you get a phone call from your father, thanks to you, I decided, your mother and I decided to become Shomer Shabbos. That's a very good surprise, no? It's a lot of surprises. You turn on the news, you see Saddam Hussein was found in a pit. That's a very good one. Tomorrow they find Bin Laden, hopefully in a grave. So that's a good news. So that's a lot of things. Why the Gemara only use 3 examples? So Chazal are very clear, very deep, very deep. Every word was weighed so many times on the scale until they decided to use it. It says, to some people, Mashiach will be a Metziah, finding a diamond on the street. To other people, it will be a black scorpion. After a meeting with a scorpion, there's no more life. Which means they will watch Mashiach in CNN for a few minutes, and Mashiach will tell them, I'm sorry, my job is to smell. That's what the Navi wrote. The Mashiach will smell every person and he will know if he's tzaddik or rasha. Smell him. It means he was going to walk in the door. The Mashiach will go like this. Out, out. I don't want to be with you in the same room. Why? You this and that. He didn't say he will see. He will smell. He will get such power from Hashem that he'll be able to smell. That means a person that is wicked has a bad smell. We cannot tell the difference. But if we had a divine power, we would be able to smell who is a tzaddik, who is a rasha. Imagine if we had this. I tell you a story. I have a person, I spoke about a few days ago in my other lecture. I'm not going to tell you if it's a male or a female. I'm not going to tell you from where. I can only tell you it's from somewhere in the state of New York. I'm not telling you any pieces of information, age, nothing. I just want to tell you that this person has a gift. Depend how you want to call it. Gift, a problem, depend how you look at that. What's their gift or problem? They are able to see things that nobody else can see. They can see souls of people in space. They can see Hila. You know what Hila is? Every one of us. Aura. The aura, the Kabbalah says that every person has an aura, which means around his body there's a color. We cannot see it, but with special equipment today they already detect. You have green color, blue color, red color, white supposedly is the best color. So this person is able to see by the person walking in the door what color they have. This person is not educated in Torah. For instance, if I had the ability to see, I already know the colors, what each color means. I know what those neshamot means. I know the rest of the things that they see. For instance, letters in the forehead of people, Aleph Bet letters. And it's psukim from the Tanakh. Now this person doesn't know these psukim. Or they see letters in the hand of the people. Letters. As the Kabbalah said, that this whole world is a combination of Aleph Bet letters. The Hebrew alphabet. They see, when they go to walls, they see images of people. The Kabbalah said that people are reincarnated in walls, in raw material. It's amazing. However, a Jew, religious person, Jewish religious person. Huh? No, just an ordinary person. An ordinary person. Then you cannot say, oh, you know, this person is the most righteous person in the world. That's why he has this power. So it's very interesting because you get them already scared from the situation. You know, it's not so simple. The Zohar says if you are able to see things around us, you wouldn't be able to function ever again. The Zohar says. I'm just trying to imagine what this person goes through. But on the other hand, if you know the Torah, you know that by seeing them, it's really not going to harm you. Just you get used to the fact that you have all these images around you. I was always wondering why in Shulchan Aruch, one of the halachot is that if a person is alone, even inside the bathroom, there's nobody there, he's alone, or he's in his bedroom, it's locked, nobody can see him, the shades are down, everything. He wants to change clothes. So he takes off his pants and he puts a different pants. Who cares now? So I always was wondering to myself, I say, okay, modesty, I understand. There got to be a limit. How modest I have to be in front of Hashem? Why? If I'm going to do it under the blanket, Hashem has any limitation to see me from under the blanket? Like the blanket is covering me from Hashem. It's really foolish when you think about it. Then I realize that it's not even about this. It's not only that between you and Hashem. Yes, it's respect and all that. There are other visitors in the room that are watching us all the time. We're just not aware of them because we cannot see them. That's the problem. Just imagine if you knew you have a candy camera in your bedroom. It would make you behave completely different. Right? Same thing inside the bathroom. So then I realized, now imagine if I had the ability of this person, it's real. You see right away every halacha how it falls into place. That's called bechadre chadarim, in hidden rooms. This is what it says. The Torah says, Arur haoseh baseter. Someone who makes sins in hidden rooms, behind the scene, is Arur. What does it mean, Arur? The worst curse in the Torah. Who got that curse? The Nachash, the snake. Hashem told him, Arur ata. Where else Hashem used this word Arur? Arur means cursed. They gave a list of sins, and everybody screamed, Arur, right? Hashem said, Arur, someone who does this, and everybody say, Amen. And another sin, and another one, and another one. Then the last word, the Torah says, Arur asher lo yakim et divrei HaTorah azot, ve'ana kol ha'am, Amen. Let's translate. Someone who is not gonna make this Torah stand, not literally, it means not supporting the Torah, not spreading Torah, not doing kiruv, not donating money if he can, everyone with his ability, is not gonna help my Torah being spread all over the world and being steady and having the funds and everything that's necessary, is going to be cursed. That's what taught me a lesson, this pasuk. Why? Sometimes you come to a person and you tell them, I need donations because I want to give free DVDs. There are a lot of Jews that they have no idea what life is all about. They don't know Torah, they never went to yeshiva, they don't know anything. Just before I started, one girl came to me and said, we watched the disc, you gave it last time, it's great. Every hour, at least every hour, I get few phone calls from people who watch the DVD for the first time. It's very sad that the nature of the human being, that after a while you get used to a treasure that you have and you're not so excited anymore. But in the first few days, I couldn't sleep at night from happiness. Why? Imagine every hour you hear that another 2 guys calling you that they became Shomer Shabbos from your DVD, and a woman decided to go to the mikveh, and another 10 people today just told you that they're going to come to the seminar. And then you hear hundreds of people are going into the website and watching all the lectures thanks to that DVD. Now, there are people who donated those DVDs. Just imagine what a treasure they are earning every day, not even knowing. They walk in the street, they suffer, they have sicknesses, divorce, they couldn't find their soulmate yet, business is not good, IRS problem, all kinds of, we have plenty of problems. Just imagine if you knew that with all the agony and pain that you have every hour of your life, that hour you just made $1 million. You care about the pain you have in your knees? You care about your back pain? You care about the fact that you're already 3 years looking for a shidduch? Yeah, you care. The $1 million would cheer you up. I'm just giving an example. Some people don't care so much about money, so they care about something else. So just imagine every hour you make that something else. Every hour. What a great happiness. There are people in this world, every minute they make $1 million. Did you know that? I'm not excited anymore. Shimon is one of them. But the question that I have, there are some people, I'll give you an example. You know this singer named Paul McCartney from the Beatles? Every day, he make $1 million just from all the songs of the Beatles that they play in all the radio stations in the world. Just the residual income. What do they call it? They have a name for it. Royalties. Just from royalties, every day, approximately $1 million goes to his account. That's besides all his other businesses.
How come he brings so much money?
Because it's not one radio station, it's thousands. It's thousands of radio stations. Do you think they're happy, these people? His wife died from cancer, and then he got another wife that cheated him. She married him for his money. She took away a lot of his money now. They're not happy, these people. No matter what you get, it will never cheer you up. You're going to always look at what you don't have. That's the nature of the human being. That's why nobody can reach happiness. When does a person reach happiness? When he knows that life is temporary, anyway it's going to be over, then he doesn't care. What is it like? A person likes to be a truck driver. So he goes on a test, road test. How long is the test? 5 minutes. Once he passed the test, how many years is going to be a truck driver? 40, 50 years. All his life. He's going to support him, he's going to support his children, he's going to send them to yeshivot, he's going to build a house, he's going to go on vacations, whatever. He's going to wear clothes thanks to this job. Now imagine if the 5 minutes inside the truck that he suffered from the heat, the air condition doesn't work, the chair is too hard, the steering wheel is a little bit hard, the radio doesn't work. Does he care about all these things? Why he doesn't care about it? Because he knows that's not the purpose, to be here 5 minutes inside the truck. This is something you gotta pass and get the license that you'll be able to get a job. That's why he doesn't care about the air condition for 5 minutes. He doesn't care about the truck. He's only a visitor in a truck. Once you get to this feeling about life, you become happy. Because everything that happens, it doesn't blind you. You made a lot of money. Who say it's good for me? How many people made a lot of money and that got them far away from Hashem? The list doesn't end. Once they started to have money, they started to make sins with that. Not right away. It's a process. For instance, every year they were celebrating Leila Seder in their home with their wife and children. Because they couldn't afford $15,000 to go for a hotel. All the organizations that do us a favor, taking us to all kinds of hotels for Pesach, for 8 days, we pay them $15,000. Very good, very fancy, nice food, beautiful china plates, beautiful Leila Seder. Mamash like Yetziat Mitzrayim. Same thing. So, he didn't have that because he couldn't even dream about it. All year, he doesn't make $15,000. He's going to go 1 week to Pesach, somewhere to move to Florida. So what happened? He became rich. Let's also taste from the good thing. He started to go there, he saw beautiful places, then he saw the beach 2 blocks away. So he said, you know what, let's put a hat, let's go on Chol HaMoed a little bit to the beach. One thing leads to another. 5, 6 years later, you see him, you sure you're religious? Where is your religion? Gone. It's gone. What got him to lose everything? The money. Sometimes it's the other way around. People that are grateful, they appreciate every penny that Hashem gives them. So they give donation, they try to do things. Sometimes I see such poor people. Poor means they barely make a living. But they want to buy tefillin to a friend that cannot afford it. That's warmed my heart very much. Or a girl that wants to buy tefillin for her father. My father will never buy it. I might as well buy it for him, but he promised me he's going to put tefillin every day. How much tefillin costs? 2 weeks of her work. She works in an office, 2 weeks of work. She's willing to give 2 weeks of hard work for her father to put tefillin. This is impressing. This is something to be impressed. Now imagine if this girl will have, I don't know, so much extra money. Then she's going to use it in the right way. Let's go back. So David HaMelech said, Tzara v'yagon emtza. You forgot about it already, huh? You were waiting? Okay, good. So, ובשם השם אקרא. Tzara v'yagon, problems and agony I'm going to find, and then I'm going to scream in the name of Hashem. I start to pray to Hashem to save me from that problem. So Chazal says, why David HaMelech used this word, I will find? He should have said, Tzara v'yagon will come to me, and begin to scream to Hashem to save me. That's the proper way. Because it's a real metzia. It's like finding a diamond, 100%. Why? Why it's a diamond? Somebody stole your car. You come out of the shul. Motzi Shabbos, your car disappeared. It's a metzia? Yes. You just saved your son's life. What's better, to lose a $2,000 car or to bury your son tomorrow? Of course it's better to lose the car. If you had 10 cars, you give them away, no? Since you don't know, you suffer. If you knew what's really happening right now, you will never suffer from anything. Never suffer from anything. I gave an example last night to one guy after the lecture. I told him, I want to ask you a question. root canal. It's a positive things or negative things. You go to the dentist, 2-3 visits, root canal, the needles inside the root. Sometimes you jump on a chair. It's not a great feeling, no? Root canal.
Not always you jump from the chair.
I'm talking about myself. 4 shots doesn't help. The dentist doesn't understand. I never saw such a thing. I give you 4 shots and you still jump? Everyone with his מערכת עצבים, the nerve system, works different. Anyway, the question is, I asked him, root canal is positive or negative? He's thinking, he's not so sure. Where am I heading to? So I told him, let me help you. Root canal is the best thing can happen to you. So why? So if you're not going to do it now, in 2 months you lose your tooth. Then you won't have a tooth. Every time you smile, people will get scared. So what's going to be? In this generation, you may lose your shidduch forever if you're missing a tooth. And in the old days, people got used to it. Most people didn't have tooth. There was not such great dentists like today. But the point is, we could have been smarter before and we wouldn't have the root canal. If you wouldn't eat candy for the last 5 years, you wouldn't get to that root canal. So is the root canal is good or bad? Depend. Compared to what it could have been, is not good. Compared to what's really going to happen, it's the best thing. When Chazal said that Kol man de'avid rachmana latav avid, everything that HaKadosh Baruch Hu does for the benefits of the person, for his own good. There is no bad from Hashem. We must understand it. From now on, out of all the possibilities, this is the best one for you. Which means without it, something else will be a lot worse. So from all the possibilities, Hashem gave the punishment that is less than all the others. What is it? Root canal. What? To save your tooth. However, if you're normal and clever, you should look back, retroactive, and say, what a fool I am. If I would be tzaddik, I wouldn't need to lose money. I wouldn't need to wait 5 years for my shidduch. I wouldn't need to do all these problems that I have now, all this agony that I have. Why? I brought it on myself. Still, of course, thank God that I'm getting it now, and not afterlife. Over there it's much worse. It's better to pay now. It's big discount. To be punished in this world, it's not even 1% from the real punishment. I once gave an example. The Torah says that 3 were involved in the advice of Pharaoh. Pharaoh, 3 היו בעצה הזאת. Who was that? Eov, Bilam, and Yithro, right? So one said you should kill them. One was silent, and one ran away. Right? So now we find that the one who was silent, what was his punishment? First of all, Yitro, his zchut was that he converted and he became the father-in-law of Moshe Rabbeinu. What Yitro did? Yitro ran away or Yitro was silenced? He ran away. Then we had Eov that was silent. He got years of suffering, lost all his money, tragedy one after the other. So Bilam, that gave Pharaoh a bad idea, said, go kill them, go against them. What was his punishment? He got killed. He got killed. How long he suffered from the killing? How long a person suffers when he gets stabbed to death? 5 seconds, 10 seconds? What would be better? To get who knows how many years of suffering like Eov, or to get stabbed 10 seconds and it's over? You don't feel anything. Oh, so Chazal comes and light our eyes. They say, Yitro didn't really do anything. Just because he didn't say, no, don't do it. Eov, just because he didn't say, no, don't do it, He went through so much suffering, more than anybody ever suffered probably in history. He's suffering. He got to a point that he asked Hashem, maybe you made a mistake in my name. Iyov and Oyev sounds the same, almost the same spelling. Oyev, it's an enemy. I'm not your enemy. Why you hate me so much? He got to that point that he couldn't take it anymore. So Chazal says, from here you should learn. Bilam, that should have got billion times worse than Iyov, got 10 seconds punishment. And he, which he hardly did anything bad. He didn't say, hey, go and do it. He was afraid to talk too much. He was silent. He went through so much suffering. So what do you see from here? That the punishment, everything that Hashem does is logical. It's no coincidence. So the punishment of being here in this life and suffering so much is nothing compared to what comes after. And in case you're not convinced, go check in the Gemara what was the punishment of Bilam. Once you read it, you understand that Iyov, with all his suffering, was nothing compared to Bilam, what he got after his life. So we see here that as long as we're alive and suffering, it's still nothing compared to what should have happened. And that's why it's better. And that's why Hashem says in the Torah, Et asher yoav Hashem yeyasro. Someone who I love, I hate. Very good love. Boom, a punch. That's a love punch, a love patch. When I give my son a patch on his hand, right away my wife runs to tell him, it's a love patch. It's a love patch. It's really a love patch. Why you hit your son? You're afraid that something will happen to him. You try to push his finger into the outlet. He can die. You try to explain to him, no, it doesn't help. What do? You want him dead tomorrow? You want to scare him. No, how are you going to scare him? You give him a real patch. Now he knows. The next time he's going to push his finger there, it's a patch. That language you understand. Most of us are like this. When we remember Hashem, when the check bounces, put it in, you get a phone call from the bank. The check you put yesterday bounced. You don't have money. All the checks that you wrote will bounce. You begin to scream, Hashem, why? How much I can take it? It's problems. It's all a metzia. But the person not necessarily sees it. You know, I started to talk about midot. A person that corrects his midot is a perfect human being. He will never have problems with people. Everybody would love him. He will never have an argument with anyone. No one will have any incentive to harm this person because this person is not fighting. Someone did something bad for him, he backs up. Okay, I'm sorry, you're right. Go first, no problem. If you want to try it, next time when you drive in traffic, two people are fighting to go first. You know, in traffic, you know how it is. You merge from two lanes into one. If you're going to try to push yourself in, he has a big truck. He's going to teach you a lesson. But if you go to the guy, go ahead first. What's going to happen? Right away he's going to say, no, you go first. No problem. So why are you being a fool? Try to push the gas. Right away you go like this. S'il vous plaît. No, you go. Now he's already suffering. You see your enemy in your office, someone who you are bothering him. Your presence over there in the office bothers him. See him with the elevator is, don't push closed door. The opposite, hold the elevator for them. The best way to win your enemies is to be nice to them. It kills them. When you see an anti-Semite come to the bank, you see right away, well, with girls it's hard to tell, especially when they're singles. But guys, they have yarmulke, they can't hide their identity. So you know this guy, before you open the door for him, every step he does towards the bank, in his heart he's thinking, I'm going to slaughter this Jew, I'll kill this Jew, and all of a sudden the Jew comes and says, here, sirs, have a nice day, good morning, good afternoon. You open the door for him, then there's another door, you open the door for him, he doesn't know where to hide. And don't think that he may not change his mind from now on for something very minor. In the psychology of the person, the Torah says that if a rabbi is a judge in Beis Din, if you smile to him before the trial, just accidentally, he didn't even know it's the judge. Stand in the elevator, let's say, you go up to the 3rd floor. You see somebody, before he put this black, scary outfit that he has. You know, so he say, good morning, or he smile. Right away, he has a pity on you. If he sees you that he has to judge your case, he cannot judge it fairly. It's so severe that the Gemara brings a story of somebody, his name was Rav Anan, that was his name. He was a judge in a Beis Din. So one time, a person that he knew in his neighborhood was sued by another Jew, and he was supposed to be the judge. So when he came, he said, I'm sorry, I'm not allowed to be a judge in this case because I know this guy is in my neighborhood, but let me take you to another judge. So he walked him in a hallway to another room in a Beis Din. There was another judge. So he told the judge, now remember, Reuven is suing Shimon. And Shimon is from the neighborhood of this judge, Rav Anan. So he's taking now Reuven and Shimon to a different judge. It's 100% fair. He could have not say anything and go towards the favor of Shimon, but he's honest. So he went to the other judge. He said, I'm sorry, I cannot judge this case, so please you take it. Right? So far everything is kosher?
More or less. But he said that this one is in my neighborhood, that's already a problem.
He didn't even say this one is in my neighborhood. He said, I cannot judge this case. The other judge saw that the judge came all the way from his room to bring him this case to his hand. I cannot judge this case. So right away he knew that this guy is somehow relates to him. So he was in the middle of the trial between two orphans, that they trying to share their father estate between two orphans, who's going to get what. So he told the orphans, okay, let's take a time out from your case, come back tomorrow. And I have to take this emergency case. The judge got under the impression that he's one of his relatives. So the Reuven that is suing Shimon started to have a second thought. He said, oh, I'm suing this guy and he's so important here in the Beis Din. So he said to the judge, I changed my mind, I'm mochel. It's okay, I don't want to sue him. And the Gemara says, Shimon was guilty, Reuven was right, he deserved to get the money from him. But since he saw that they're giving him some kind of respect, even indirect, it made him change his mind and he didn't sue him. And now what happened to Shimon? He died as a thief. And what happened to a person that died and he has in his possession something that belongs to another person, even a goy?
He has to come back.
He has to come back. Why? Because in hell, he cannot pay for theft. Can pay for Chilul Shabbos, can pay for modesty problems, but he cannot pay for theft. The only way to correct it is to return it. That's a big problem. One of the punishments that is almost impossible to correct is stealing little things from many people. I don't suspect that none of us is a big thief, is going robbing people's houses or their wallets, you know. But sometimes out of, lack of attention, without realizing, we use someone's phone maybe once, or taking napkins from his restaurant when our hands were wet, there was no towel anywhere, so you went into a store somewhere and took 5 napkins. You think, he doesn't care about 10 cents napkins. Who cares about this? Come on. It's not this. It's you and another 100 like you every week that think the same. Gemara brings a story. One person had a fence in his backyard from wood. One time he saw a guy, cheap, a little piece. He needed a toothpick. He doesn't have amazing savings to go buy it over there. So he broke a little piece from the fence. He was cleaning his teeth. So the owner of the house started to scream from his window, you're a ganav, you're a thief. He said, come on, you crazy? What is this? You care about this piece? He said, you don't understand. If every person that passes by this shortcut every day will just take a little piece from my fence, Every week I'm going to need $1,000 for new fence. Right? Same thing, someone who cut through your backyard. What did you think? What is the guy care that I'm going on his grass? Does it cost him money? It saves me 10 minutes of walking. But it's reality that you come a week later and you see that now there's no grass. The grass disappeared. Why? Now it's hundreds of people walking. One or two pass by once or twice. They have a black hat. They cut. Oh, look, the rabbi went through. It's probably good. Probably got permission. So let's also cut. Another one and another one. 5 years later, the guy wants to put a fence. The court doesn't let him. Why? It became the public territory. That's the halacha. That's even the law in America. If in America it's 3 years. 3 years, you let people pass from your backyard, it becomes easement. That's it. You cannot block the way. Now, let's say you want to extend your house. It's enough that one of the people who like to pass through your shortcut comes to the town and say, what is this? We've been passing through this every day, every week. He never put a sign, no transparency, and none of the trespassing. He didn't put any sign. He didn't say from his window, hey, I'm not allowing you. He didn't care. So what happened? The judge here in America make you unable to build. It's already a public territory. That's what it is. So I'll give you another example about Midot. The Chazal telling us a story that Mordechai, it's the first one who called Jew. In the entire Tanakh, where we find the word Yehudi, you don't find it in the Torah. You don't find it in the Nevi'im. Only the first time is the Megillat Esther. Mordechai Yehudi. Yehudi come from what word? Yehuda. Why they link Mordechai to Yehuda? Mordechai is not from the tribe of Yehuda. From what Shevet Mordechai is? Binyamin. What is a mistake, Chas v'Shalom?
No, because the 10 tribes, they already sent into exile. So Yehuda, Binyamin, and Levi were left. And
so why? All right.
Yehuda was the most popular, so they just called. That's why we're called Jews today.
Very interesting, right? It's true. You have Cohen and Levi, so all the others is Yehuda.
Because Yehuda was the most popular.
But it doesn't matter that the tribe disappeared. It's true they disappeared, but still he knew that he's from Shevet. Everybody knew that it's from Shevet Binyamin. Disappeared or not disappeared, that's besides the point. To name him, to give him a territory, maybe it's a different story. But to name him after where he belongs to, you know his last name. You know he's from Shevet Binyamin. What's the secret here? Listen to this. The secret is that the story is that few hundred years before that, David HaMelech was cursed by Shimi ben Gera. Shimi ben Gera comes to David HaMelech and begins to curse him. Now you may think David HaMelech will take him out for execution. Should kill him. David HaMelech says, Azov, Hashem amar lo kalel. Leave him alone. It's all from Hashem. It's not him. Shimi ben Gera is cursing David HaMelech. David HaMelech is from what Shevet? Yehuda. Because David didn't care, he didn't make a big deal out of it, they made Mordechai that came from Shimi ben Gera, instead of named after Shimi ben Gera, which is his grandfather, named after the Shevet of David HaMelech. His merit of saving the entire Jewish nation is not registered in a file of Shevet Binyamin. Why? They went to the enemy, supposedly, of Shimi ben Gera, his grandfather. So that's what we learn from here. If Chas v'Shalom, there's two grandfathers that are fighting, and one is tzaddik and the other one is rasha, and you came, Chas v'Shalom, from the rasha, and if you did something great that Hashem wanted to publish it to the whole world, all of a sudden you belong to the other grandfather. It goes to the other territory. As a bonus to David HaMelech for being quiet. That's what Chazal says. Who is a perfect human being? A person that controlling his desires. How a person controls his desires? There are 3 organs in the body of the person. very important one. One is the brain, one is the heart, and one is the liver. What's special about those? Liver, it's where all the blood comes from. No, the blood. Kaved. Why it's called kaved? Because it's the heaviest organ in the body. It's very heavy. It's like 5 bottles of seltzer. That's how heavy it is. Because it has a lot of blood in it. So now, why the way it is, the brain is the highest. Under the brain you have the heart. And under you have the liver. Is it coincidence? What each organ symbolize? The brain is being cool, sharp, thinking, doing the right things. The heart is emotions, desires. And the liver, what is the liver? The blood. The liver, it's the blood. What's blood? Blood is the desires of a person. He wants to eat. What's create this blood? All the food and things that a person eats. He has big desires for it. That symbolize the desires, the physical desire of a person. Once the brain is controlling the heart and the desires, in other words, this is the right thing to do, but your emotions tell you the opposite. But the brain saying, this is what the Torah says to do, as painful as it may be, for my feelings, I must do the right thing. Or something is not kosher to eat, but since the brain is telling me the right things that the Torah says is not to touch this food, once the brain controls the other two, then what are you? A king. You are controlling your desires and your emotions by the brain. That's called moach, it's mem, lev, heart is lamed, kaved is chaf, melech. If it goes in the right order, melech. What happens if it's the other way around? You become chaf, lamed, mem, klum, nothing. Remember this. When your emotions control your everyday acting, you are klum, you're nothing. You may say, I'll give you an example. Hashem says to Shaul HaMelech, destroyed Amalek. Clean them, don't leave one. No animals, no sheep, no nothing. Shaul did 99.9% of what Hashem told him. Just when he was about to finish the job, he was thinking, what, millions of dollars I'm going to destroy now? Cows, camels, sheep, all these millions of, they have a lot of animals. Why should I kill all of them? You know what? I'll do something greater. I'll bring them as sacrifice, all these sheep to Hashem, the cows, the sheep. I'll bring it to Bet HaMikdash. I don't want it for myself. I'm not going to make business with that. No, God forbid. But why will I kill all these animals? What happened in the end? We had the Holocaust because of that decision. What's the connection? Why 6 million Jews died? Because Agag, the king of Amalek, is the only one who stayed. Why Agag stayed? What's the connection between the sheep to Agag? Chazal says that he made a kishuf. People used to know how to make magics. Kishuf, like the magicians today. And he pretended he's a sheep. He made a kishuf. The Gemara says that people knew how to do all kinds of illusions. So because he pretended, he made himself look like a sheep, and Shaul didn't kill the sheep, when the magic, the black magic expired, he became Agag again. Then Hashem sent Shmuel to Shaul and said, what is this noise that I hear? Meh, meh, what's this? So I did everything Hashem told me, Shaul told him. So he said, but I hear all the sheep in the background. Why they're not dead? So what happened to Shaul? He really meant well. But because he mixed his own opinion, his feelings, even though Hashem told him, black on white, destroy them, don't have any mercy on them. What happened in the end? Haman came from Agag, Haman HaAgagi. Haman, the first Holocaust, almost in Persia, in the time of Haman, almost happened. Almost. It was decreed, sealed already. That's it. Tomorrow they begin to execute everyone. Hashem made us a big nest. And then later on it happened in the end. From who? From this Agag. If Agag will be dead, you will never Amalek anymore. Amalek, it's Gematria $1. What's the real Amalek? The Torah say Amalek always surprises us on the way. The nature of this horrible nation that called Amalek, it symbolizes the Yetzer Hara that always meet you on your way to do a mitzvah. How does Amalek always win against us? What do you think? If you go to learn Torah, so Amalek is going to come and tell you go to the nightclub? Someone is on the way with his Gemara to the yeshiva. He doesn't think about going to a nightclub now. So how does the Amalek will convince a guy that is on the way to learn Torah not to go to the yeshiva? How? In a very clever way. He's going to tell him there's a pregnant woman, her husband is at work, and she's looking for someone to take her to the hospital. It's an emergency. Go right away, your neighbor, she's looking for a cab. You hear a kid, somebody is speaking on the neighborhood. You run, Eliyahu Hanavi came to save you, ma'am. Here I am, to your service. Then you go with her to the hospital, you wait 5 hours like you were her husband or something, you wait there 5 hours, 3 o'clock at night, Mazal Tov, she had a boy, very good, you feel delighted. You go home, your wife saying, where are you? You say, I just come from a very important mitzvah. I took the neighbor and this and that. It's 4 o'clock. So what happened? You lost the 2 hours of learning. How many mitzvot a person does in 1 hour of learning? We calculated once. 60,000 mitzvot an hour. Chafetz Chaim calculated. Every letter is a mitzvah. Person does about 200 words in a minute. Each word has about 5 letters approximately. That's right there, 1,000 mitzvot a minute. Multiply by 60,000 mitzvot. 2 hours that an average balabait is learning. Here you go. 120,000 mitzvot went to the garbage to earn 1 mitzvah. That even that mitzvah, it's not equal to 1 letter of the Torah. What a bargain for the Satan. A complete defeat.
You're supposed to do this mitzvah?
I didn't say you're not supposed to. Take out $50, give it to her, say, call a cab, or you call Atzala. Atzala, come quickly. 2 minutes later they're there, they take her to the hospital, you have nothing to do until 3 o'clock. What does Satan know? Satan knew if he's going to come and say, go to the beach. I said, you're crazy, I'm trying to be a tzaddik here, leave me alone. So he got you to another mitzvah. The emotion overcome the thinking. And that's how we lose in life all the time. It reminds me, one guy, he was drunk, 4 o'clock in the morning, he walked in the street, you know how the drunk people walk. So the police come, stop by, excuse me, where are you going at 4 o'clock? So he said, I'm going to a lecture. So the cop said, let's arrest him. Because he's lying, we might as well go all the way against this guy. So he say, hey, you fool, who goes to a lecture at 4 o'clock in the morning the way you look? He said, I'm telling you, as soon as I walk into my home, my wife will begin giving me the lecture. I'm going to a lecture. You want to see? Come with me. You hear a lecture when I get there. Emotions, it's an important thing. But the Torah says if a rich and a poor person comes to the court, and you the judge, and the poor person owe $50 to the billionaire. A billionaire Jew suing a person that is homeless. And what's the lawsuit for? For $50. The rich man makes $50 every second. The poor person, $50 keep him going for the whole month. He buys some bread, a cup of coffee here and there. The whole month is surviving thanks to this $50. What's right away 99.9% of the ladies that sits in a court will do? They say, we find the defendant not guilty, there's not enough evidence, let him go. Why? Well, you want to take his last $50? You're such a cruel millionaire. Go back to your millions, leave him alone, right? What does the Torah say? No. Judgment is judgment, my friend. Don't worry, I'm Hashem. If I want, I'll give him back $50. Torah, it's sechel, not heart, feelings, emotions. Emotions is important, but it's against justice. I'll give you another example. Let's say you have a business. Then one day your brother calls you, I'm sending my son to America. He cannot find a job in Israel. So why don't you find him a job in your restaurant? Okay, I'll do a mitzvah. Let's give the guy a job. The guy comes in, then after a few days you go to the camera, you check the film, you see the guy stealing money from your register. Every day. You give the guy 20 here, 80 there. 20 here, every day. Making a lot of money. What's the halacha now? What do you do with this guy? If you throw him out of the business after a few days, he just came, family, my brother, his wife, my parents. Wow, what's going to happen in the family? It's going to be a disaster. So what can I do? I have no choice. I'm trying to prevent the problems. 3 months later, he's bankrupt. What do you think? There's still bills to pay. And you know how it is. It starts with 10, 20. The appetite of the person always growing constantly. 20 becomes 40, 40 becomes 80, 80 becomes 160. Chazal says, יש לו מנה רוצה 200. He has 100, he's seeking for 200. Once he put his hand on the 200, there's no more excitement. He is after the 400. And once he's after the 400, it's 800. 3 months later, he leaves him no business. What does the Torah say? Put your emotions and your calculations aside. Throw him out of the restaurant like a dog to the street. Go sleep in Central Park. You cannot step into this restaurant. How did you do such a thing, Rabbi? Such a cruel guy. Well, the Torah said to have mercy. The Torah also said that if you have mercy on a cruel person, in the end, when you're going to need to have mercy on the righteous people, you're going to be cruel to them. Why? Because you're a fool. If you're a fool, you're going to pay the price. The Torah said there's no mitzvah to be an idiot, to let the thief come, like the Christians wrote. If you saw my debate with the Christian priest, I brought him from the New Testament. The New Testament says, if somebody stole your jacket, give him your coat. Come, dear thief. Maybe I can offer you also to steal my coat. Or if he slap you on one side, give him the other cheek. Told him, don't be a fool. It's contradicting the Torah. The Torah says, Abba leorgecha, shkem leorgo. Someone who you just heard from a reliable source that is on the way to kill you, make sure you're going to be the first one to kill him. To kill him? Torah says in the 10 Commandments you should not kill. The Torah says it's mitzvah to kill. When someone is on the way to kill you, then it's a mitzvah to kill. You killed him, it's a mitzvah, like putting tefillin. To kill, sometimes it's a murder, sometimes it's a mitzvah. To eat pork, sometimes it's a horrible sin, sometimes it's a very big mitzvah. How? If you're in a Holocaust, in a camp, and if you don't eat it, you die, you must eat it. If you don't eat it and you die, you just killed yourself. Whether you killed yourself or killed another Jew, it's considered a murder. But I didn't want to eat pork, Hashem. Because you're ignorant, you did the wrong thing. What did the Torah say? Ela mitzvot asher yaseh otam ha'adam v'chai b'hem. Those are the mitzvot that the Jew has to follow, that he should live, not should die. The Torah gave 3 exceptions. When a person has to die and give up his life for the Torah. Only 3 exceptions. That's it. You know, the Vilna Gaon says, Tikkun hamidot ze kol ha'adam. Correcting the personality, the bad traits, that's what human being is all about. We don't seem to pay attention enough to our bad habits. Sometimes we are not generous enough. Sometimes we careless. We don't care about other Jews. I'll give you an example. How many times a day we get in a mail Well, most of you are single, so you don't have your own home yet. But those who have their home, we get junk mail every day. Junk mail is the sickness of United States. It's now all over the world. It's contagious. Comes from China already now. Maybe you buy rice in Shanghai's market. It's already in the envelope. All over the world you get invitation to come shop. Among all this junk mail, there is very valuable mail that for us is also junk mail. What is it? Yeshiva Zichron Meir, calling for help. The yeshiva is collapsing. Garbage. A widow with 10 children, they don't even open the envelopes. Why? He says, I'm poor. I don't have money for my own bills. What's the point of reading all these letters? Anyway, I cannot even send them $2. The stamp I cannot afford for all these letters that I get. Right? So since I don't have money, I myself don't have, I might as well don't even waste time with that. Come Rav Zilberstein and say it's a big mistake. Why? If you cannot donate money, that doesn't mean you cannot help that widow or that yeshiva. How do you help them? You open, you read the letter, and you have a tear in your eye. Big mitzvah. One tear, and another tear, and another tear, it adds up to millions of tears. Why? Because every person that opens and reads that horrible story, it's very difficult to hold the tears or the goosebumps that you get for a minute or two. It adds up. Hashem has mercy on that Jew. So many Jews made tshuva thanks to that story. Right away, save him from his sickness or from the situation. Without sending him, you cannot send. Hashem knows you cannot send. I'm not talking about people that they can send plenty, but they're egoistic, they don't care. We're not talking about this. That's already a big problem. I'm talking those who cannot send. Mo anochi batzara, the Torah says. Bechol tzaratam lo tzar. If Hashem is punishing a Jew and suffer more than that Jew, it's needless to say that we have to be the same. Kol Israel arevim ze lazeh. Also, in my opinion, what is the worst problem that we have in this generation, in the last 20 years? The last 20 years, it's our addiction to comfortable lifestyle, the American way. Hashem is sending us messages, but we are blind to understand, to see. The messages that He sends to us, since we don't have prophets, and the rabbis of these generations, it's not what it used to be 100 or 500 or 700 years ago. It's not the same level. So Hashem sending us message to through the most despicable people on earth. Who are they? The Arab terrorists. They are the most despicable people on earth. What is the message that they are sending us every hour, everywhere we go on the news? Let's see. One message that we get from them, they constantly say that they hate America and Israel and the Europeans because of their materialistic lifestyle. They call us for Islam to become Muslim and to live poor life and modest life because this is the right way. Where did they learn all these concepts? All from our Torah. Everything that they say which is true comes from our Torah. You should make no mistakes. The Torah is mentioned in many, many chapters in the Quran, clearly. Moshe, Musa, they call him, it's the same person, just different accent. The way they pronounce it is a little bit different, but it's the same names from the Torah. What else they call for? They call for loyal marriage, for modesty for the girls, for educations in schools, for killing the homosexuals, for executing murderers, for executing rapists. Everything they learn where? In the Torah. Since we don't want to hear the truth, Hashem sends us the messages through them. One other message He sends to us, that when we go to daven, let's say we are in a public place, an office, airport. When we want to pray, we hide behind the poles in the corner there. Little 10 Jews. Why? I don't want to attract attention. People hate them just as much as they hate the Jews. Nobody is crazy about them here in America. If he needs to pray, where is he gonna pray? In the middle of Kennedy Airport. He open up his little Pakistani rag and Allahu Akbar, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever it is. No, he doesn't care that everyone stares at him, wants to kill him. It doesn't bother him a bit. So we get the messages that we should have learned way before we even knew about them through the most despicable people on earth. Why is it? To open up our eyes how down we sank, how far we are from Hashem. We don't understand this. We don't understand this. Forget about all the phony things that they do behind the scenes. We know in Iran, make no mistakes, as soon as the plagues take off to Europe, to France or to Belgium, all the Iranian black cover ladies opens it up, Yves Saint Laurent, Armani, right away, tight jeans, they take the makeup. Fine. In Iran, they're afraid to get killed. So just giving you the idea, the idea is, okay, that's not a part of the Torah. The Torah doesn't give permission to beat up the wife. Right? I said, that's not what you should learn from them. I'm saying the things that they wave with their flags, they are saying things that Hashem wanted us to already know a long time ago. So since we don't want to learn, He sent it to us in the ugliest way possible. Through who? The most despicable murderers that have no mercy on orphans and children. They kill, they have no mercy, they celebrate. They explode themselves to pieces and the mother give candy. An hour ago our son blew his head off somewhere in a restaurant to kill another innocent person and they give out candy. Why Hashem is showing that to us? Many, many times they wave every second words that come out of their mouth in their speeches. Allah, God, God, God is great, God is big, in the help of God, we're not afraid of anyone. They're showing us what we should become right away. Hashem sending us the message, everywhere you go you cannot avoid it. You live in a fear. Why you live in a fear? Because they're around. You have wild beasts around you everywhere you go. You cannot escape that thought and imagine that they're not around us. Who sent them to us? The Torah says clearly, if I'm not satisfied from your behaving, I'm going to send the enemies after you. And they run after you and you'll be paranoid. Parashat Bechukotai, read. And your land is going to shrink. The enemies among you will go higher and you go down.
How can Hashem make that the children themselves become terrorists?
They chose to be that. Ishmael, it's true that their father, grandfather, Ishmael, the Torah already told us that he's a wild beast. Pere Adam. Yado bakol veyad kolbo. So it's in their genes. The murder, the blood shades, it's in their blood. But doesn't mean they don't have a free choice not to be murderers. It's free choice. Same thing the Christians or the descendants of Esau have their habits, but they can overcome these desires. The same thing the Jews. The Jews have their own problem. But it doesn't mean that you're a robot. If you have a certain habit, you can overcome that habit with the help of the Torah. Just before we finish, you got to remember, the most important thing is to seek for very simple lifestyle, not flashy lifestyle. You should never ever care about the label on your suit. Never. These things is Atzat Eitzara, this is Amalek, exactly. This is what HaKadosh Baruch Hu cannot stand. People are addicted to the materialistic life. A kosher wife, when she goes out on a date with a guy, especially a yeshiva guy, in my opinion, and I'm willing to swear that Hashem agree with me, in my opinion, Hashem will appreciate this girl and make her marriage 1,000,000 times better if she's going to tell the guy, I don't want a real diamond. Not even half a carat, nothing. So it's a waste of money. Give me a cubic zirconiac for $10, $20, I'll be very happy. 100%. That's going to make her 1,000,000 times higher right away in a second. By the way, the Satmar Rabbi and the authorities in Satmar already made it a rule in their community. No more wasting money. when thousands of Jews have no bread to eat, and they hardly can buy a piece of chicken or fish for Shabbat, and people are looking in Eretz Israel in a garbage. People are waiting and looking in a garbage in Eretz Israel to get potatoes from the floor and some cucumbers, and now he has to marry his son. He's going to have to buy her a diamond ring. Where is this crime comes from? Shh, please. Where does it come from? Where does it come from? It comes from stupidity. Why? Because the millionaire can afford to buy diamonds. Now all the miserable Jews have to follow him. What is this? All these things that we have. We must get this, we must have this. How can we not have two things? What do you mean? Just 20 years ago, nobody had two things. Only the extra rich people could afford two things. All of a sudden, a guy that doesn't have what to buy tomorrow in a supermarket, he must have two things. He must have this, he must have that, he must have this. The list of the requests that they have before they get married, it's hard to believe. But we must have a set of comforter, sheets, blankets, pillows. There has to be at least one good one, Rabbi. $1,000. Just buy $50 once and live with that. Life is over before you realize. Why are you killing your husband? Why are you killing him? Because remember, seeking for materialistic lifestyle, having a very heavy price to pay. If money would grow on a tree, no problem. That's still a problem. Because the more you are in love with material, you are away from Hashem. You're going further and further. There is no way in history, never, that you're going to fall in love with clothing and rugs and chandeliers and beautiful cars and all kinds of things and convenience, and at the same time you elevate your spiritual level. Forget it. You don't believe me? Ask the Ramchal, the greatest Kabbalist in the last 500 years. Read Mesilat Yesharim, read Derech Hashem. Tell me if I'm right or wrong. This is their words, all the Chazal. Pat b'melach tuchal, mayim b'mesorah tishteh, al haaretz ata yashen, v'chaye tzar ata chai. You want to be a Talmid Chacham? You should be ready to live off bread and salt, nothing else. If you are in this level, you're going to be Talmid Chacham. You drink water, the filthiest water. Today, Rabbi, you drink water from the sink? That's what people ask me in my Shabbos table. You really drink water from the sink? I didn't think I'm going to find people today that drink water from the sink. No. Mr. Trump Jr., he cannot drink water from the sink. Wow. Just if you would see the water that Moshe Rabbeinu drank after he threw the piece of wood into the lake over there to make the bitter water, deserve to be drink. Go to India, see what water they drink over there. 50% of them get sick from the water. They dig in the ground. The cups in India, it makes from sand. Dry sand. If you drink water, you see some of the sand comes in the water. In India, I understand, it's hard to drink from the faucet. But in New York, what, the water is not good? How spoiled we became. The children, you go to yeshivot today. What is the business card in yeshiva today? What kind of hat you have? Borsolino or not? Borsolino, you go to this category. The other one goes to different ones. They go to the tie. You go like this, the kids, check. How many maids they have at home? That's why not one of these kids become Talmid Chacham. Nobody. Go into all the yeshivot. From 1,000 kids, maybe one loves to learn Torah. 2 generations ago, people will kill to learn Torah. Look in Eretz Israel in the times of the war with the Jordanians, with the Syrians, in the 1920s. Every second student in Porat Yosef became Gdol Ador. Rav Ovadia Yosef, Rav Ben Zion Abba Shaul, Rav Ezra Atiyah, Rav Ben Porat. So many names. You look at the book. They see. I saw in my eyes a picture of 30 Talmidim from the same class. Each one of them is a chief rabbi somewhere. Show me one class today that have 30 children, 30 boys in one class, in any yeshiva in the world, that all 30 became big rabbis. Maybe one out of them, it's a big achievement for the Rabbi. The Rabbi will admit. That's it. What do they have? They have a nice black hats, 15 different Game Boys. Addiction, all day, like this, like a robot. Then you ask him, no, let's go learn Mishnayos. Oof, no, begins to cry. Begins to cry. That's what the situation is today. Rav Zilberstein says his parents were supposed to fly to his wedding in Eretz Israel. When he got married, he was in Eretz Israel. So a few hours before the Chasuna, he still thought that his parents will arrive to the airport. He doesn't hear from them. Nobody answers. Doesn't know what's going on. He goes to the chuppah. They're waiting in the chuppah an hour. Maybe they'll show up. The rabbi said, listen, the wedding is going to be over. We got to do it. They made the wedding without the parents. All night, the parents didn't show up. The next day, he found out, many years ago, 50, 60 years ago, when he called and spoke to his parents, it wasn't like today, you pick up the phone, you dial a number and they answer. It was a little bit hard to communicate. So the father told him something that should teach us a lesson. He said, your mother and I was thinking about the expense of the airfare, and we decided it's more important, we'll keep it aside for you that you'll be able to learn more pages of Gemara. What's the point of participating in your wedding? Do you hear what I'm telling you here? A person that is an avel, lo alenu, sitting Shiva. A few days ago his father or mother died. And his son is getting married. They planned, it happens all the time. They planned the wedding. He didn't know his father's going to pass away a few days before the wedding. Every rabbi in the world, extremely strict Orthodox rabbis, give him permission to go to the chuppah. Mara says, it's like, if he's losing all his money, you got to give him permission because he's going to drive him crazy. Evel, it's important, mourning, but there's a limit to it. Let him participate in his son chuppah. If not, it's going to drive him crazy all his life. I did not participate in my son chuppah. So his father say, you know what? It's better we won't go to the chuppah. How much it will cost the $2,000 tickets to fly? You know how much Torah he can learn thanks to this money? Put it aside for him. I am sacrificing my convenience. I'm not going to participate in my son's wedding. Why? We're going to make an extra few million mitzvot. No. Isn't it amazing? The Ritbaz in Tzfat, this hundreds of years ago, heavy snow was going down on the floor. So it wasn't like today. You call, they shovel carve, they clean, they put salt, an hour later they go back to the road. Mountains, there was no roads. Snows up to the knees. He had to walk 10 minutes to the shul, but he's an older person, he's the rabbi there. It's very hard for him to walk in the snow. What do you think? He had shoes from Walmart? Snow boots? Life was different a few hundred years ago. So, somehow he made it to Mincha. He was one of the first one in the shul. One person walked in and saw the rabbi standing by stander, preparing for Mincha and crying. Imagine you walk into the shul, you look at the rabbi standing alone in the shul and crying. Right away he ran to the rabbi. Rabbi, what happened? You're crying like this. So he said, I just thought about my father and my mother and the family. So why are you crying? What happened to them? He said, when I was a kid, I was a very good, bright student. One day the teacher is calling my father and he say, your son can be a shining diamond. He has an unbelievable head. And the level that I'm teaching the student in this class, it's not fair to focus on one kid when all the other will not understand that level. I think that is way above the level of the class. If I would be you, I would hire a private tutor that can go far with him and teach him more, Gemara, Mishnah, whatever. He can become somebody great. He has the potential. So my father is telling the story to this guy. He said, my father wasn't a rich guy. He was working, he was building ovens. How the oven was? Brick oven. you used to take bricks and make a square, dig a hole in the ground, they put some woods inside, and that's how it was. And you connect it into the chimney and it goes up, right? That's, by the way, that's how they used to make bread there. They used to warm the house. The oven was the center of the house over there. And still most of the places in the world, it's still like this. What do you think? They have electrical oven with remote? They don't have that in Afghanistan and in Uzbekistan, in all these villages over there. They still live like 200 years ago with horses and carriages. So there was a problem with the company that makes the bricks. There's one company, they're on strike, it's hard to get bricks, it's impossible. One rich guy is marrying his son, and he built a new house in Tzfat to his son, but there's no bricks to make an oven. It's very cold in Tzfat in the winter. So how are you going to get an oven? Before you put an oven, people can freeze in the house. So he heard the father that this rich guy is searching all over to build an oven. So he came to my mother, the Rav says, and he asked her if she minds that he take apart the oven that we have, take the bricks, and make an oven to the rich guy, because he calculated by the 6 rubles he's going to pay him, I'll be able to learn 3 months Torah with a private tutor with this money. So of course she agreed, because a Jewish mother back then, she knew what's the purpose of life. So my father took away the oven from our living room and went to that rich guy and built an oven for his son. He gave him the money, and he paid it to that melamed. And all winter, me, my brothers, my sisters, my parents were shaking like this all the time in the house, freezing, for me to learn Torah. And now I almost did not come to Mincha. I saw some snow on the floor, it's a little windy. I started to think, should I daven at home or should I go to the shul anyway? Yes, no, yes, no. Then it came to my mind how my family was suffering all the years for me to learn Torah, and me 10 minutes to walk in a cold weather, I almost didn't come. You understand? If we would think back about our grandparents, what they used to do for the truth, we won't know where to hide. I wish I had my laptop to you. I would read to you a letter that I received a week ago from a goy, Mr. Johnson. I wrote back to him. I get every day at least 1 email from a goy. At least, sometimes 3, 4 a day. Every day. Baruch Hashem, the website is already worldwide. From all over. From America, from Europe, from Israel even, from Pakistan. You know, you won't believe how the power of the internet to get to every corner in the world. So the goy is begging to convert, literally. Help me. Where? From New Orleans. It's not even a Jewish kosher court over there. I was there once. I gave a lecture there. He wants to convert because he saw the truth of Judaism. So, you know, I try to give attention to everyone who email me, to answer all the emails. It takes hours every day, but it's very important. Especially when you develop personal relationship with non-religious people, it's much more effective than just giving them lectures when they're another number in a crowd. Why? A private conversation after the lecture with a person 5 minutes, I find it much more productive than 10 lectures. Even though the lectures are making people aware of what needs to be done, when somebody speaks to them, someone that they admire is speaking, or his knowledge, speaks to them like 2 friends, or like father to son, or like a brother, psychology of a person, it's making a big impact on him. Even if you send a letter to one of your friends, something, you give them private attention, it's working much better than just send them to hear a lecture or something. This is it. This is how it works. So I asked him permission to read his letter in a lecture. I didn't read it yet. I'm looking for the right time and the right place. Should have done it yesterday. It was good. But anyway, he writes in a letter, I wrote to him, I'm ashamed, after reading your letter, I am ashamed with myself and with my people, with my brothers and sisters, means the Jews. What is willing to give for the truth? How much a person is willing to sacrifice? You know, so he sent me back an email You have nothing to be ashamed of, something like you, the chosen people, the nation of Hashem. An amazing letter. Just Motzei Shabbos, I turn on my computer, I get email even on Shabbat.
Wow.
The Goyim don't know what Shabbat is, they send me emails on Shabbat. So I got, on Motzei Shabbos, I turn on my computer, I get another email from him. What does he write in the email? I wish I have extra money that I would leave everything and just learn Torah all the time, non-stop. I called my son that's playing with his stupid Game Boy. I said, come over. I want you to read this email loud. He couldn't read it from his embarrassment. From his embarrassment, he couldn't read it. Why? Why do you think I wrote to him, I'm ashamed? We have it in a shelf, easy, we take it for granted. Most of the Torah books and Gemara in most houses are not used at all. From the minute they bought it, it smells like brand new 20 years later. You go, see if I'm right or wrong. Go like this, on top of them, you see how much dust. Baruch Hashem, the Ashkenazim, in Pesach, they big machmirim, so they take it out and they clean it, because they're afraid maybe the mice put some chametz inside. They never opened that. So at least maybe the mice went and hide over there, the squirrel, he put some pita bread inside the book. So they check the pages. They bring people from the yeshiva to help the rabbi. He opens each one of the pages and they clean it with a brush. We do it only with the books that we know we learned. Books that we put on the Shabbos table, maybe bread went in, we do it. But books that we know we never opened the whole year, with the embarrassment, we don't touch. We have a lot of other things to do. But other than that, this book will never be opened. Let's finish with one last thing for tonight. The Chafetz Chaim, before his daughter got married, he called up his Chassan. And he said, we love you very much. I decided that you're the right guy for my daughter. But I have one condition, that you must make one promise to me before I will approve this shidduch finally. Now, if you would be that Chassan, what would you think the Chafetz Chaim wants to tell you before you marry his daughter? What would you guess right away? Maybe you want me to learn non-stop Torah. Maybe you want me never to say a word of Lashon Hara. That's what symbolized the Chafetz Chaim, no? Chafetz Chaim. Chafetz Chaim told him, I want you to promise me, guarantee, you will never make my daughter own more than 2 alphets in her entire life. One for Shabbat, one for weekdays. Never more than this. Don't ever come and say, I bought you another alphabet, now you have 3, and then it becomes 4, and 15, and 300. I want to put mezuzot in one house here in New York somewhere. From the morning to night, I didn't finish putting the mezuzot with a helper, 2 people. And the size of the closet was almost like this room. How many pairs of shoes? I almost vomit from how much it was disgusting me. How much Torah was on the garbage there on the floor. Take her shoes, all the designer shoes that were there. Religious woman. And you know what? A righteous girl. Good heart. Generous. Nice midot. How to believe? Modesty. Covering her hair. No wig. Cover from A to Z. Doesn't wear a wig. But the addiction to material, it's the #1 cancer. You're in love with that, you are an enemy of Hashem without realizing. You don't believe me? I'll show you 100 places in the Torah that it says it. If you're in love with this world, you cannot be in love with me. If you're in love with me, everything in this world is mud in your eyes. Rav Steinman, you know Rav Steinman? Do you know what the chairs in his house? When I heard it, I almost fainted. What chairs he has in his house? Milk boxes. You know milk crates? The milk crates that they bring the milk to the supermarket, those blue and red ones. He took one and one, they connected with screws. That's the chairs in his house. Gdol Ador. All the Torah by heart. the richest people in the world, every day coming to get advice from him. To buy this building in Manhattan, not to buy. To invest, to sell, to get married, not to get married. They live in palaces, and he has milk crates in his Shabbos table. No, what do you say about this? That's how the Chazon Ish was. He didn't use milk crates, but he had a chair from 50 years ago. Chafetz Chaim, look at the picture. There's only one picture from the Chafetz Chaim, black and white. Look at the front of his house, where he lived. Harlem, it's Fifth Avenue compared to his house. That's why he became Chafetz Chaim. You think you live in a palace, it would be Chafetz Chaim? The Gemara said that the princess of the Goyim, of the Romans, she came to Rabbi Yoshua that was very ugly. She told him such great intelligence in such an ugly head. That's what she told him, for the chief rabbi. So the rabbi asked her, where does your father store his wine? What does she know now, this princess? She heard a question, she didn't see the connection. She said, in regular ceramic barrels. He said, yeah. Your father, the king, the Caesar, he puts his wine in ceramic barrels like all the ordinary people. Somebody like your father lives in such a palace. The minimum he should have is silver or even gold. He should get gold or silver, beautiful things, and put the wine inside. She said, you know what, you're right. I'm going to bring it to my father's attention. So, guess what? She comes to the father, he's a king, right away he got offended that people speaking Lashon Hara about his utensils, about his barrels. Right away he changed everything to silver and gold. Few days later it all became vinegar. When you put wine in silver and gold, it's become sour, vinegar. They come to drink from this expensive wine, everything is bitter. He calls her up, what's happening? Who gave you this advice? She said, the rabbi of the Jews. Bring him over, he made me $10,000 damage. They bring the rabbi in, say, why did you give her such advice if you know it's going to ruin the wine? So the rabbi said, it's not my fault. She started with me. She told me how such intelligent are in such ugly box, utensil, face. So I answered the same thing. What do you want? So he said, but by the way, isn't she right? Father wasn't anything better than his daughter. So he says, yes, she's right. She said, no, so how do you explain that God made such a bright head inside such an ugly face? So he told him, the king, the goy, told him, couldn't he make you handsome, nice, charismatic, and intelligent, and chacham? What was the problem? So he answered him something that should teach us a lesson. He told him, if I was handsome, I wouldn't be Rabbi Yoshua. You understand? Yeah, maybe I'll be chacham. I would be too busy with the nonsense in this life. This girl smiled to him, that girl, this shatchan after him, that shatchan, like this, nobody's after me. What I did, I learned Torah all my life. That's what the Torah says, sheker achen ve'evel hayofi. Isha irat Hashem, hi titalal. Beauty, this, that, it's all nonsense. Everybody's after these things. It's important, you should love your wife, I'm not saying no. But what's the main foundation, the main thing? Isha irat Hashem, hi titalal. She deserves to be praised, not because of her beautiful hair. What is this? What does the Torah say? Mishamayim mashkif Hashem. Every day Hashem is searching in the entire world. Lirot ayesh maskil doresh el Hashem. To find one smart person. One. All over. Where? Who's considered smart? Searching for Hashem. Is after Hashem, after the mitzvot, after kedusha, after Torah, after tzedakah. That's considered a smart one. Irat Hashem, Reshit Chochma, Irat Hashem. The beginning of wisdom, first step, fear from Hashem. Rabbi, don't be fanatic. Why? Why everything has to be fear, punishment, gehel? Come on, don't be fanatic. We can't hear this. How the Americans, Rabbi, no offense, not all of them, They have a beautiful say that I cannot stand it. When I hear it, I almost faint. What do they say? Don't be too strict. I say, why don't you show them the truth? This guy sitting in your Shabbos table, he lives with Christine in his house every second in a scene. Why didn't you tell him anything about it? I'm afraid to turn him off. So I should say to it, somebody from Or Sameach, one of the American guys, gave me an idea. He said, all these rabbis are telling me, I'm afraid to turn them off. So that guy, this is his idea. He says, I should ask them, before you're afraid to turn them off, they should be on. But they're already off. All their life they're off. What do you mean you're afraid to turn them off? Maybe if they're on, they're keeping, they're doing, they're coming to learn, yes, you got to be careful not to be too strict with them. How are you going to shake their soul? You wake them up from all the dust, from all the dirt. By telling them stories from Hollywood and some jokes? That's not going to do anything. A person that wants to be close to Hashem has to know that there's two sides to Hashem. There's the right hand and the left hand. Generosity, kindness, mercy, that's one side. What's the other side in the Torah? Read. You don't have to believe me. Just read Sefer Dvarim. See the punishments in the Torah. See how strict is the judgment for every little detail. How to believe? It's like it's my fault, like I wrote the Torah. What do you want? I'm just telling you the truth. This is what the Torah says. I know it's not pleasant to come to the doctor that he has to send you now to the emergency room. And needles and surgery and who knows what. Nobody likes to hear that. You complain about the doctor or you send them a thank you card with a nice check after the surgery, donation. Why? Why you appreciate him? Because you know he wants for your good. He wants to give you the right recommendation. Even though it's painful, this is the right way to look at life. Not to look for easy life. Sushi, Chinese, this wedding, what's going to be before, $20,000 flowers. Live in such illusion. Then they want to be righteous. Understand? Why Hashem took away the money from all the Jewish rich people? 99 out of the 100 lost everything they saved. One guy was in a wedding last week. This guy used to be a businessman until he met me about 11, 12 years ago. I gave a lecture to business people in Manhattan. How I got to that place, that's before my laptop. I used to have a suitcase with transparencies. You know those pieces, clear pieces, you make copies on it. You buy the clear copies from Staples. You make copies. You have a special suitcase. You open it with a light on the wall and you put it on and the people see. That's how it used to be. So I know one of my friends, he lives in Manhattan. I happened to pass by. Then, 12 years ago, I unfortunately, still used to pass for Manhattan. Today, it's a big danger to enter there. Just to enter, it's a big risk. You don't know if you come alive. Spiritually, physically, for sure. Satan will give you extra strength to be there. But seeing what you see there in one day, it's like what your grandfather didn't see in 80 years. 80 years he didn't see field like you see in 1 hour in Manhattan. 80 years he didn't see what you see in 1 hour. I'm not exaggerating. Combine all the negative problems, modesty, dirty people, curses, whatever you want to call it. All the dirt that they had in their entire life in 1 hour, maybe in 1 minute. Or watching television, the same story. So I know my friend is there. I say, I'm coming over. He say, all right, you're coming right on time. You see, everyone is here playing cards. Casino in the house. I walk in with my suitcase. Right away, I heard there's a lot of guys there. I brought my suitcase up. So I open up the suitcase. Everyone is playing, they have tables. They're playing cards, gambling, friends, on money. Some of them already lost all their money, so they moved into the couch. So I started with those 4 or 5. Then the people who were playing, they started to hear interesting things. They have what to say. So more and more people moved in until everybody was sitting, maybe 30 guys, and watching a show. This guy was a very successful businessman. He has a confection in Hong Kong and in Manhattan, offices, in clothing, women clothing. I started to speak over there. One guy is the owner of a modeling agency. One guy is an owner of very large dealership in Manhattan. One guy is a successful diamond dealer. One guy is a tycoon in real estate. All 30 successful young people sitting there playing cards. I'm speaking, I'm giving the lecture, then this guy got up and he told everyone, don't you see? How come I never knew this? Right away, he decided to change everything. He left the business. Hard to believe. He was opening a club in Tel Aviv, right next to the beach, millions of dollars investment, 3 floors, Cuban cigars. They choose carefully who's permitted in that place, dancers and many other bad stuff. He gave up his investment. He called a lawyer in Tel Aviv, take me out of the deal. You're not getting your investment back. The hell with this. He started to change his life. He's changing his life. Slowly, he moved from there to Muncie. We found him a basement. There was rain on his head, leaks all over. He comes, half of his apartment is a swimming pool. What this guy went through for a few years, a very handsome guy, cannot get married now. His lifestyle has changed completely. He's dying to get married. He's suffering from that because that's it. He cannot go and make sins anymore. One time he comes to my house for Shabbos. I asked him a question. I told him, let me ask you a question. He was by then he was already 41. When I met him, he was 38, now 41. Looks younger, in good shape, but 41, not married. I asked him in a Shabbos table, I say, let me ask you, if Hashem takes away everything you have right now from you, He leaves you on the street with the short pants, that's it, like this. Homeless, nothing. But He gives you the best kosher wife. So you and her, but you have nothing. You willing to take the deal? He looks at me, what are you, crazy? What kind of question are you asking me? It's an illegitimate question. I can't answer this. I said, don't play games. Just answer yes or no. Thinking, like this. For a few minutes he's thinking. So yeah, I'll take the deal. I say, you got it. Guess what happened? A few months later he moved to Israel. His business went bankrupt. He had a Persian partner. That Persian partner, very nice guy. I met him. He got a heart attack because the business collapsed. Problems in the business. He went out of the business without a penny. Then he went to Israel. He went to yeshiva. He's learning in yeshiva. They introduced to him a young girl. Young, beautiful girl. Religious all her life. Hard to believe. Nobody can believe such a shidduch. He gets married. He goes to yeshiva in Bnei Brak every day. All his friends in a business here in New York that are in touch with him continue to make millions in real estate. It was the good years, 5, 7 years. Then they keep telling him, you're such a fool. You have some money that you saved. Come, invest your money. You double your money every few months. I'm learning Torah. I need this money to live off it. It doesn't work for years. Slowly, he eats up all his money. Then, there's no more parnasa. His money ran out. He had very little left. He moves back to New York from Israel. With his wife and 3 children already. He moves to New York. Very hard, to move with a family from Israel. But he had some money, so he rented an apartment. This last week, there was a wedding. He was sitting on the table after 7 years of learning Torah. I had a joke. He has now trillions of mitzvot in his spiritual bank account. So, all the guys that used to have a year or 2 years ago, they used to laugh at him. This guy, I already have 30 million. I have 20 million. I have 50 million. Each one of them, all his friends from the business world. Half of them, those the people who were in that lecture. All sitting depressed in a wedding. This guy owed millions to the bank. This guy lost all his real estate. This guy lost all his life. This guy lost his business. Everyone is bankrupt. That's the situation in America, in the world today. So he says, tzorek mi shetzorek acharon. That's what they say in Hebrew. It doesn't matter who laughs in the middle. It counts who is going to laugh in the end, in the final destination. If you're going to come there laughing, that's a real laugh. If you laugh in the middle, it's nothing, it's an illusion. You have money in a bank. Tomorrow you wake up, Citibank is bankrupt. You lost everything. That's what happened. Somebody went today to the bank. They asked him, do you want to open a CD for 3 years? We're going to pay you triple on interest. So he said yes. So yes, few $100,000, that person. He tells me the story. So the manager in the bank said, I cannot open to you 1 CD. I must open you 5. 100,000 in each. So he told him, why? I don't want 5 different numbers. Put everything in one. So they don't understand. In January, I don't know, January or July, I don't know what he told me. They're going to change back the law to what it used to be. FDIC insured up to 100,000. Now they made it 250 to relax the people. But we do not know. It's a temporary decision. Maybe they'll approve it, they extend it, maybe they'll bring it back to 100,000. We may not be around in 3 years. The manager of the bank hinting to him, when you're going to come to cash out your CDs, trust me, we won't be around. So at least you'll be insured by the government. One thing the manager in a bank doesn't know, that the government won't be around in 3 years. They're also going to be bankrupt. That's he doesn't know yet. This country is finished. It's dead already. Now they try to make the dead looks a little bit good for the public. As the country is bankrupt. If you see some of the inside information, what's going on here, the panicking, think about it. The Minister of England came to meet Obama, all the way from England, in a private jet. Obama couldn't meet with him.
Why?
He told him that we have an emergencies with the economy. He comes, they made a scheduled appointment. He comes from England to meet with him, a minister. So England sent the next day, United States is not open for any foreign policies. They only now worry with the economy. The economy is so bad now. The government constantly giving hundreds of billions of dollars, which they don't have. It's going to take hundreds of years to bring it back with taxes and things and printing money and making the value of the dollar goes down to zero. They don't have it, and it's still not helping anything. Every day becomes worse than yesterday. Why? Why is it? And this is my final message to each one of us. Hashem has a plan. It's very obvious already. The Gemara says Mashiach cannot come until all the people will be completely broke. Why? Hashem enjoying to see people are starving? En ben David ba ad shelo tichle pruta min hakis. Gemara in Sanhedrin. Mashiach will not come until everybody will open up his pockets, his bank accounts, and will be empty. Whether he's rich, whether he's a billionaire, whether he's an ordinary Jew, everyone will be broke. Why? Because Hashem loves us. Once you have money, you're still counting on your money. That means you don't count on Hashem 100%, and Hashem cannot stand it. We see it from the man. People who left some man, save man for tomorrow. What happened? Hashem destroyed all their man. You depend on me, not on your saving. Hashem cannot stand savings. It took us 3,300 years to realize it. Before Mashiach comes, Hashem will take away everything. We're going to be in a situation that between lunch to dinner, we're going to have to beg Hashem, can you have mercy on me and my children to give me dinner? That's what's going to happen now. It's already happening to so many Jews. They announced yesterday where I davened Mincha in Monsey, Rabbi Tendler came. The old Rabbi Tendler was 80 years old, something like this, the son-in-law of Rav Moshe Feinstein. What does he talk about money? I never saw him talking about money. I was begged by the Tomchei Shabbos to ask everyone, if they're not going to get immediate help between now and Shabbos, they don't have money to help people this Shabbat. They're loaded with people who used to be wealthy, and now they're very poor. Half of the people in Monroe, foreclosure. Half of the people in Monsey don't pay taxes. Rockland County in general. It's going to become now a rebellion. People will rebel against the government. They won't pay their taxes. Why? I care about taxes? Let them take the house in 3 years. In the meantime, we got to eat. What are we going to do? Pay them their taxes? They're not going to have income. People now, every second person I'm asking, what do you do? People calling me, I want to get some information about them. I'm unemployed. Almost every person. The Tomchei Shabbos guy told me in Brooklyn, people with fancy Acuras, sometimes BMWs and Mercedes with nice clothes and ties are coming to take boxes for food for Shabbos. 6 months ago, he had $10 million in cash in his accounts in Wall Street. He got wiped out. I saw one very rich person in Monsey, that his name is all over the places as a sponsor. He spoke to my friend, he said, I wiped out. Nothing left, not $1,000 left. And it's happening to everyone. Very, very few are still making money. Even people who used to donate, they're losing their money. Why? It's very nice to be generous and to sponsor, but you also worship your money. The Torah says that we should not make any avodah zarah. Lo yeh lecha elokim acherim al panai. It's in the 10 Commandments. Then the Torah repeats it in a different words. Do not make yourself God of gold and silver. Why do you need to waste my time? You already told me you're not allowed to have any God. I'm not a fool, I understand. No other gods allowed, no idols, no nothing. Why all of a sudden the Torah says, Lo yeh lecha elokei kesef ve'elokei zahav? Because a person doesn't know that sometimes he's really worshipping his bank account, his money. What makes him sleep well at night? Knowing he has money in his account. That's not emunah. I know it's very high level, but Hashem will prepare us before Mashiach to be in this level. Tomorrow I have what to eat? I don't know. Maybe tomorrow I'll be on the street, in the snow, in the wind. We don't know. Everything Hashem does, He does for a good reason. One woman in the Holocaust had one boy. I finish, 1 more minute. She had one boy, and the Nazis just shot him. Chas v'shalom, if it would happen to us, all your life you have one boy, and now they just killed him in front of you. What most women will do? Kill themselves right away. They can't take the pain. Guess what she did? She was begging him, hugging him, crying, and she said, Dear God, until today, I was trying to make the mitzvah, ואהבת את השם אלוקיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, but it was very difficult for me. You should love your Hashem with all your heart and all your soul and all your money. Why? Because I was loving this boy also. So I had to share my love between two, you and him. Now when he's gone, I finally will be able to make the mitzvah only to you, nothing else. No. 60 years ago. Chafetz Chaim went to the minister of Poland. They made a big decree against the Jews, against the religious Jews in Poland 80 years ago. All the Jews are crying all over the synagogues, the ghettos, the end of the world for them. Chafetz Chaim came to the minister and sat over there and started to cry. That's the meeting. They make a meeting for the chief rabbi of the Jews. Still, they want to show the Jews that there's nothing personal. That's the rules. Chafetz Chaim was talking to him. He didn't speak to him in Polish. He started to cry and say 5-6 words in Yiddish. Doesn't know Yiddish, that goy. So the interpreter, Chafetz Chaim didn't know Polish, only Yiddish. That's his language. From the day that he went to yeshiva, all his life, that's the language they speak. So the interpreter asked the minister, should I translate what he says? He already was signing. The decree is cancelled. He takes his stamp, everything is cancelled. So the guy asked him, excuse me, sir, how did you cancel it before you understood what he was trying to say? Not that he said that much. He said, my friend, there is one language that is international to all humankind. It's the language of the heart. Words that coming out of the heart, it doesn't matter what's the meaning of these words. and I see this old man coming to cry for his people here, and he cannot even talk, he's choking because he cares for his nation, I already understood what he wanted to say. He canceled it. Chafetz Chaim went out, 2 Jews are waiting for him outside. He said, yes. He was very happy that the decree was cancelled. So they said, Rabbi, we came for you to make a decision, what should we do? So what's the problem? He said, we are 2 partners, we decided to open a yeshiva. We thought it's going to cost 100,000 ruble. We estimated, so I gave 50,000 and he gave 50,000. While we were building, we saw that we need another 50,000. Now he was in charge of the bills, he didn't tell me, and he went from his own pocket and gave another 50. So now, he is invested in yeshiva 100, and I invested only 50. I came to complain to him, it's not fair. Why he didn't come to tell me that I also had to give another 25, like this will be 75 and 75? He say, maybe you have a point, but it's done already. I paid, that's it. And I want to give him back 25 and buy his other share. That's what they're fighting for. So the Chafetz Chaim started to cry again. So now I understand why now, an hour ago I was able to cancel this decree. When Hashem saw 2 Jews like you in this world, for you it was worse to do everything for you. It wasn't for me, it was for you. You're fighting to give money for the Torah. Now Hashem won't cancel this decree when he has 2 Jews like you. Bezrat Hashem will be in this level. It's in our hand. Thank you very much. I should be here again on the 30th, in 2 weeks from now. But I hope you're going to bring each one of you at least 10 extra people. Bezrat Hashem. Thank you very much. Good night.